Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And this movie came out in 2023, and it's the seventh Mission Impossible movie. And I've seen all of them. These are the first six. And I like all of them with the exception of 2 and 3. Those are my least favorites. And this one, I enjoyed parts of it. The stunts were impressive. I like the action scenes, and they also had a good cast. Like, I like Tom Cruise in this role, and Simon Pegg. He's always fun. There are some entertaining parts, and I do feel as though this movie does pick up in the second half, and that's where I got more entertained by it, and I was with it a bit more. And the film is inoffensive overall, and it's in ways just nice, simple entertainment, and I enjoyed the climax of the film as well. That was pretty fun, but all in all, I left this movie kind of disappointed because it just didn't really offer me much. And when it was over, I just felt as though, yeah, it did take a while for me to be won over by it by the end of it. Also, with it being on Netflix and it's almost 3 hours long, I was kind of bored from the first 10 minutes of this movie because it just wasn't doing anything for me. And so I just watched it in 1.5 times speed, not because it being a 3 hour long movie nearly, but rather I just felt as though it wasn't going to be respectful of my time. And sure enough, that's kind of what happened in the first half. The second half picks up for sure and makes up for the boring parts. But all in all, I think it's fine. And my issues with this movie, aside from the length, was that the dialogue was pretty weak at times, and the characters just talked in ways that I just couldn't get behind, and it was really cheesy at times as well, like unintentionally cheesy. There's literally a scene in this movie where characters higher ups are talking to one character, and they're all talking in this manner where they're basically just finishing each other's sentences like they rehearsed or something. And in a movie like 12 Monkeys, it's more forgivable because that's kind of the tone that it's going for, to be a bit more out there and cartoonish and somewhat wacky. And it complements that tone. Whereas a movie like this, where it's trying to be more serious, I just felt as though it was just distracting because it's really difficult to take it seriously when you have a movie that has this kind of tone. It just doesn't work, unfortunately. It's just distracting and off putting. And there were some really clunky editing choices at times. Sometimes we get flashbacks, sometimes we get things that are just all over the place. And I just found it to be kind of distracting. Luckily, it wasn't throughout the whole film, but still, I couldn't get past some of this editing. I also didn't really care for the music in this movie. It just felt like white noise to me, like I didn't even notice it. And there's tons of annoying conveniences in this movie as well. And it never once feels as though things are happening because characters did something smart. It just always feels as though characters are just lucky and nothing more. And also the whole thief getting away with everything and just losing Tom Cruise. Like, that happened multiple times in the movie, and it kind of got repetitive after a certain point. I was like, just stop already. I don't care. I also wasn't really attached to any of the characters in this movie. Not that I'm super glued to any of them in any of these movies. There are just characters that you either find to be entertaining or you don't. And this is just a movie where I was just like, yeah, I just am not feeling it here. There was also a scene that took place in a desert, and I'm not going to lie, that scene reminded me very hard of The Mummy from 2017, also starring Tom Cruise. I was shocked that that movie still is alive in my memory. I've pretty much forgotten most of that movie, but somehow this movie reminded me that that movie exists, and I was surprised by that. Not in a good way, though. And that's about all I have to say about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It was fine. Didn't really care for it. Wasn't offended by it. It didn't feel as though it was such a step down that it made me feel as though I'm never going to watch another Mission Impossible movie after this. But at the same time, kind of wish the script was tighter. Really didn't care for the villains either. I haven't even mentioned the villain of the movie, but didn't care about that. There was one kind of funny thing that happened towards the end, and that's about it. Didn't really find them intimidating, and overall, I just found this movie to be fine. I'll check out Final Reckoning at some point, but this one I don't think I'll ever come back to again. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Colossal. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.